when I hear people talk about you, they are motivated and inspired to do a specific practice. And within typically weeks, not years, benefits in the form of better moods, restorative sleep, feeling more comfortable, begin to emerge. Is that fair?
That's fair.
So why do you do this?
Well, of course, there's nothing new under the sun here. If we go look at the great teachers who lived a couple thousand years ago, they were teaching methods also to
Oh,
clear the
yes.
mind, to stabilize the mind, to open the mind. So clearly, the problems of human existence, haven't changed all that much in 2,000 years. Now, the scale upon which we have the problems we have as the result of a confused and conflicted mind have increased and more expansive because of our communications, our travel, our ability to affect things at a distance. So if it becomes more critical now, it's not that it's more critical for the human, personal human experience. All of us want to move beyond suffering and distress towards a stable place of peace and happiness for ourselves and those we have contact with. That hasn't changed. What's changed is the capacity for individuals who have a confused mind to create destructiveness, which is much more large scale, much more damaging to others than previously existed. So the importance of this kind of interchange, it's not even change actually, it's going back to who and what we originally have always been, is more essential now because the cost of not being that way is more essential. I mean, all the problems of the world, famine, fatigue, war, disease, all of these begin with a confused interior.
And then there's depression, anxiety, and mood disorders. Then there's sleep and digestive disorders. We
Right.
are really in a time of disorder rather than connection. And I think what you're suggesting is very helpful to get us back to being, back to presence, back to the moment. Charles Dickens said, "These are the best of times and these are the worst of times."
Well, it's an important time. And again, humans have always been pushed by suffering to find an answer to it. Who am I? What is the true reality of this world? What is self? Always seeking something more. We all have this intangible and subtle push that says there must be more to life. There must be something else. And that push comes from a foreknowledge that we all have from our early childhood of what it is to be without an I, without an ego, at least free of an attachment to it. It comes from those moments we have in nature and intimacy, in beauty and art and music and dance, where all of a sudden everything stops. There's flow. There's a feeling of wholeness, of well-being, of okayness. We all know that feeling. That's actually who we really are. It's not just a serendipitous good moment. It's who we actually are. And we want to capture that. Now, we're taught by culture, how do we find this inner home? Well, the qualities of it which we so miss. And we're taught to go out there and find it outside in the world, in achievement, ambition, fame, relationship, and nature, and so on. But all those things may give a moment of freedom, of ease, of flow, of well-being. But that's all. That moment may be 10 years or 10 moments because everything outside is perishable. Everything outside has an end. Everything outside is ultimately lost, including our body and the normal functionings of our brain. What is never lost and is permanent is this inside sense of well-being, the essence of who we are. Some may call it love, some call it divine, some call it sacred. That is always there and it's unchanging. And that's the experience that a person who is sitting in that has. And so to reveal that which is already there within us is the process and the aim of meditation.
Abdulaziz Said of the Sufi Order of the East introduced me to this through the Sufi Islamic path. many paths to the common goal.
There are a lot of doors, each one different. They all go into the same room. The same room is a place of wholeness, of oneness, of a peace that passeth understanding, of a wisdom that's profound and not book learned, of a selfless love and compassion, of a mental clarity, a creativity that's really novel and new, and a freedom from the known, from past experience. These are the perfumes of this place of presence and beingness, which we call human flourishing. That word comes from Aristotle, who used the word eudaimonia, which has been translated human flourishing.
Talk to us a little bit about breath and how breath can help us attain this presence of being.
What breath can help us with is to quiet down the overactive mind. That's the main function we can have of it. We need some relative stillness and quietness in order to experience what lies beyond our ordinary mind. And so breath in its many different forms helps to create some of this stillness. Why? Because there's an area of the brain, a series of brain centers called the neuro default mode. These are responsible for the restlessness of the brain. And these are impacted by a number of things. Relaxing the muscles, for instance. Good massage, relaxing the muscles will help to diminish the activity of this brain center. Breathing does also, in its various yoga or pranayama forms, as well as simple breath holding. You could just take a chest right now, a deep breath, blow it out and hold it. You'll know that the mind cannot be busy during the breath hold. The very stillness you work so hard to achieve can be achieved effortlessly just by holding the breath. Now, there are many other techniques of breath that do basically the same thing. They quiet the mind, not to get just to a place of relaxation, not to get to a place of just mental stillness. That's a booby prize if you stop there.
Well, that's a beginning.
It's the beginning, but it's the preparation to go beyond. Such the title, Meditation and Beyond. Beyond is to a meeting with the essence of self, with the true I, the true presence, beingness, beyond the ego structure we learned, and all the qualities that are associated with it. So that's the purpose of breathing. It's what I would call a preliminary. We do it for the purpose of getting to the main feast, not as an end in itself.
You're visiting your grandchildren. Can children do this?
Children are naturally born into a place of presence and beingness. You watch them. They have a sense of astonishment, or they're very present in the moment. I'm not romanticizing that as specifically what we want to bring into adulthood, because there's not really any knowing there, any functionality there. But they're born into a wellness, to a well-being, to a mental awareness, and beingness. You don't have to teach it. Then we get a name. Your name is Johnny. Your name is Johnny. Say it, please, for me. Johnny. Oh, you said it. Here's a treat. Into that container of Johnny flows all of our life experiences, all of our trauma, our good experiences, and so on. And that becomes our personality, our ego structure. And that becomes who we are. And it's like a suit of clothes and a mask that goes over our body so you can't see the body. That suit, that personality, and all of its activities, its mental activities and activities of speech, its actions, all of those cover over this natural presence that a child has. And once the poet said, well, Wordsworth says in his poem Imitations of Immortality, there once was a time of meadow, field, and stream when everything did to me appeal apparelled in celestial light. Such was then, but no longer. So it's still there in us. We've covered it over so thickly with this mental structure that we have to begin to open that up. Now that happens, as I said, naturally sometimes in nature, intimacy, music, art. All of a sudden, the ego is gone. We don't realize that because we just experience the flow, the presence. But if we went to look for our ego structure, we wouldn't find it there. So this is natural state. This is the major aim of meditation. The minor aim is the development of a healthier life. And sometimes that works together. But if you do the major aim, the minor aim will follow naturally.
Elegantly said, simply communicated. I think now more than ever is the time, for all the reasons you have articulated, to pay attention to inner space exploration.
It's always the right time, but it's not always the right time for people. Some people have to have more suffering. Some people are meant to have it in this lifetime. Others don't. But if someone's listening, they already are listening for a reason. So if you feel that sense there's something more to life, or all the gifts in life, the things that we get in the outside world through our hard and exhausting effort don't satisfy ultimately, and you want to look for something that does, then it's time to turn inward. And that's the most fortunate thing that can happen to a person in their life. Not a material fortune, the recognition that the richness of life, the ability to live life fully, is found within, not without. Once you have it within, you can enjoy everything out there much more.
So it's not either or, it's both and?
Of course, I mean, we live a human life. We should go out and enjoy it. The problem isn't the enjoyments of human life. The problem is we get attached to things as being that which satisfies our deeper need for sustained peace, sustained happiness, and nothing in the outside world can do that in sustained and peaceful way. Now, when we stop assigning and demanding and expecting, then we can enjoy what's there without attachment. If it was true that things in the outside world could give us happiness for an unlimited period of time, we sit down at a restaurant and eat a good meal, that's a great meal, we say. Well, if we kept on eating it for 24 hours, it wouldn't be so great. Why not? If it had happiness in that meal, then the more of it we had, the happier we would be. It's not that way.
I feel my teacup is full. I feel inspired and motivated. I feel that you represent and walk your talk in a way that makes me want to follow.
Well, great. It's not my talk, but I'm happy that you hear it and it
Well,
comes
I'm
through.
hearing it. I'm hearing it from you.
You're hearing it from me.
Right.
It comes through the ages, through all
Yes.
the traditions. The same
Yeah.
words, know thyself.
Not easily accomplished, but worthy of the effort.
Great. Well, thank you.
Thank you much.
Bye-bye now.
Be well.